I'm Joe Pascucci.
Good evening. Letter carriers across the country were back at work today, including those fired by Canada Post last week. The union had said it would sign no agreement until all were reinstated. But it looks as though Canada Post is getting the last word on the matter. Instead of firing, it's suspending the workers without pay. Daryl Neufeld has the details.
It feels absolutely great.
After a week off the job, Wayne Woods is glad to be back. He's one of 6 Winnipeg letter carriers that Canada Post fired after incidents on the picket line. They were reinstated as part of the settlement reached on the weekend. But his return may be short-lived. This morning, he was handed a letter that says he's being suspended without pay. It says his case is being reviewed, and he'll be notified when the suspension begins and how long it'll last.
I feel cheated that we've been used as bargaining tools, and now once the bargaining's over, now it's the suspensions come on. I don't like it. I don't think it's fair labor practice.
Wood says Canada Post is just saving face, using the suspensions to make it look as if the firings were justified, an allegation denied by Canada Post.
Well, as I've said all along, that the corporation follows normal disciplinary action. We followed our normal procedures, as we would under any other circumstance, and we did so in this instance.
With the letter carriers dispute basically over now, Canada Post's attention will soon turn to the inside postal workers. That union's contract expired last September, and they'll be in a legal strike position at the end of August.
We're hoping we can negotiate a settlement without a strike, but this time it does not look very optimistic.
In fact, Dale Clark says there's been no progress towards resolving the main issue, job security. Canada Post wants the right to lay off workers and hire casual employees. If it comes down to a strike, Clark warns against the use of strike breakers, which sparked violence in the letter carriers dispute and had limited success in moving the mail.
The government, the Tories, are trying to provoke a postal strike and then try to get tough as a way of taking the public's minds off some of their other problems they've got. Hopefully they'll see the error in that because it didn't work with the letter carriers very well.
Traditionally, the inside workers are the most militant postal employees. The last time that union went on strike 6 years ago, the post office shut down for 6 weeks. Daryl Neufeld, CKNT, First News.
And as Daryl Neufeld reported, the possibility of a walkout by Canada Post inside workers has put another cloud over the nation's postal system. The situation had just started to brighten on the weekend when the post office and the letter carriers came to a tentative agreement ending 3 weeks of postal interruptions. Jacques Bourbeau has more.
Their 3-week strike over, letter carriers were back on the job across the country this morning. Meanwhile, at union headquarters, secretaries typed up the new tentative contract that ended the postal dispute. Union leaders say the new contract represents a victory over Canada Post, because despite demands for major concessions, the union managed to hold on to job security guarantees and a promise that jobs won't be contracted out.
And it is a fight, every negotiations for the last 5 or 6 years to get job security and not to get our work contracted out. You know, and we always know that that's a fight every contract we come to.
However, the resumption of full mail service may be short-lived. Canada Post's 22,000 inside workers will be in a legal strike position by the end of this summer, and negotiations are not going well. Once again, Canada Post wants to cut jobs, while the union wants the same job guarantees that were given to letter carriers over the weekend.
Why say to a group of workers in the post office, your job security is okay, and in another group, your job security is not okay? I think it is the double stand that is not justifiable.
The letter carrier strike was plagued by ugly scenes of violence, sparked by Canada Post's use of strike breakers. And Canada Post has not ruled out a similar strategy if its inside workers walk off the job.
We're not going to allow the scabs to go in and do nothing about it. We're going to be there. We're not going to open our arms and say welcome. They probably want a gainers at the national level. If they want a gainer, they're going to get it.
An official with the Canadian Labour Congress hopes the past 3 weeks of violence have taught Canada Post a lesson.
It's just unbelievable to me as a Canadian and as a trade unionist